Now, okay, so that actually opens the door to a question I was going to ask, which is ethics, Scientology ethics, right? Now, Scientology ethics meaning conditions formulas, withhold write-ups.
Yeah.
When did that become part of what your life was, or did that ever become part of it at the school?
So when I was still in France, I think I remember doing a couple ethics type things during my last year there.
Wow.
Nothing big, just,
10 years old.
Not necessarily, 10 years old. Not necessarily opening the book and going, here's the condition that you're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember somebody walking me through the conditions. What would you do,
So like a lower condition maybe, or?
Nothing bad.
Okay, just regular conditions.
Whatever the first bad one is, where
Liability.
you have to change your routine. No.
Emergency. Change your operating basis and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a series of steps. Hubbard calls them conditions formulas. The formula being this, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And by doing these steps, you're supposed to improve your condition in an area or in your life in general. And these are called conditions formulas. And the conditions go from, at the top, power and affluence, to normal, which is kind of where you want to be, normal or affluence, down to emergency, danger, and then non-existence, which is like there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But in Scientology, there's also lower than non-existence conditions, which are called lower conditions. And that's where you've not only not existing, you're now in a condition where you're working against whatever the thing is that you're doing the conditions on, like a group, for example. Let's say you're a member of a corporation, and if you go below non-existence, they go liability, doubt, enemy, treason, confusion. And that's the scale of conditions. And if you go into those lower conditions, you're now considered to be working against the best interests of the group, and you're therefore a bad person. And lower conditions are ubiquitous. I mean, they're just everywhere in Scientology. People are constantly doing lower conditions.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, how does that work in the school?
Never lower conditions.
Okay.
In France, I think purely because I was 10 and I was, all I do is play soccer in the yard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Football.
Sure.
But when I got to England and turned into a teenager and all that stuff, I did lower conditions a few times, yeah.
Okay.
There'd be times, I remember one time I climbed on the roof of Greenfields, and we had
on a dare or something? You're just interested in getting up there?
We had a bag of tennis balls. We were on the roof and we'd start throwing them down. We weren't trying to hit people, we were trying to scare them, and then we'd hide and stuff. And the head of the boarding school, which wasn't Jeff Smith by that point, it was somebody else, drove in, it was nighttime, drove into through the driveway, and just headlights were bright on us. And we're like 50 to 100 feet off the ground, and she's like, "Get down right now!" And we were put in something pretty bad. We had to do mess work.
Okay, which is basically like labor.
Physical labor.
Physical labor,
and no schooling. Okay, so I missed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I missed at least a week, maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, because.
Wow, parents paying for this the whole time.
Yeah.
You're doing physical labor.
Physical labor.
As
so
punishment.
I was given a broom, so was my buddy, and we were put under a tree, and it was fall. Okay. So the leaves kept falling.
Right. This is in England. Right.
And it's wet, so the leaves stick to the floor.
Ah, right.
So we were told to sweep this area until it was clean.
Right.
And then we would move on to something else.
Okay.
But I remember after a few days having blisters on my hands because leaves would keep falling
You're out
down.
there all day.
Yeah, all day.
Sweeping.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, we did. Then they moved us on to other things like spraying the grass and cleaning the dirt from the playgrounds and all that kind of stuff.
Wow, and you did this for a couple weeks because you threw tennis balls at people off the roof.
Well, the reasoning was we put the school in danger by placing ourselves on the roof.
Yes,
which
of course.
I get, but I mean.
Yeah, you were a liability, man. You were.
Exactly.
You were worse than non-existence.
Yeah.
You were now working against the group.
I'm horrible.
Yeah, you're a horrible person.
That's there were a few more times where I sneaked off. So Greenfields is surrounded by Ashdown Forest, which is a beautiful forest. And Ulrich mentions it tons of time. but those are considered out of bounds. And I would sneak off out of bounds a lot of times with the kids, and we found a river and we set up a swing and we'd go swing across the river, and sometimes somebody would fall and come back completely soaked, and I'd be like, "Where have you been?" And be like, and they'd know by now, you know, and we had set this up, so.
Interesting.
We got put there a lot, but.
Interesting. So just a question. When you were doing those conditions, did they pull out the Scientology ethics book and throw it in front of you, or?
Yeah.
And so you knew this was Scientology.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah, I knew, but again, I never questioned it because I grew up with it.
Right.
You know?
This is just how the world works.
Yeah, I was like, okay. To me, it was a Scientology school. The school itself would never represent itself as a Scientology school. It always represented itself as a applied scholastic school.
Oh yeah, maybe we should differentiate on this
Yeah.
right now. Okay, so applied scholastics is a social betterment group. Is an SBC is what they call it in the church hierarchy.
Right.
And applied scholastics has the function. It is part of the church.
Yeah.
As as a corporate entity.
Right.
But it is its own entity. Applied Scholastics International.
Right.
And its job is to get L. Ron Hubbard's study technology
out to people.
Out into schools.
Yeah.
And get it used.
Yeah.
So this was an applied scholastic school.
So while we don't teach Scientology, we only teach applied scholastics.
Except you're doing ethics conditions.
Scientology kids
right.
got conditions.
Right.
I'm sure other kids, I think other kids got conditions too, non-Scientology kids.
That's what I was just saying. I'm wondering, were there non-Scientologist families sending non-Scientologist kids to the school?
Yeah, and that's why they marketed themselves as a applied scholastic school, because applying yourself as a Scientology school is more of a negative term.
Right.
And tends to scare people away. But if you're, oh no, we don't do Scientology, we only do study tech.
Right.
But clearly the whole study tech, the whole school organization is set up on Scientology principles. Because you walk down the hallway and there's an org board right there.
Okay, which is the organizing board.
Yeah, with qual, which is the qualification division, which is where you go take your tests and your exams.
Yeah.
With tech, which is where all your teachers are, where you go study. With treasury, with
communications office.
Yeah.
Okay,
with marketing.
Right. So the organizing board is a 7-division board of divisions. There's 7 divisions, and it's basically a command structure that Hubbard invented to run an organization, has the actual structure of an organization. And a lot of Scientology organizations use this thing called an organizing board to structure their companies. And so they have a standard set, Division 7, which is executives, Division 1 is communications, so on. And this structure is, can be adapted to any company or any organization. So here we have an applied scholastic school, but it's full of Scientology.
Yeah, I mean, all the executive members at the school are Scientologists. And 90% of the teachers are Scientologists. Right. So you go into the exec's office, and all the volumes are there. You know what I mean?
Right. So all the policy volumes and the technical volumes, all the Scientology
not
stuff.
Not the tech volumes.
But the policy volumes.
Some tech volumes, but definitely the policy volumes.
Good. Did you ever see A History of Man laying around when you were at school, or a Dianetics book, or
definitely Dianetics,
Fundamentals of Thought, or anything like that?
I don't remember on how many of the basic books were there.
Yeah.
Definitely Dianetics for sure.
Okay.
I didn't
Ethics book.
I definitely saw. What was the one with the snake on it?
Dianetics 55.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I definitely saw that one laying around.
That's one that's primarily about communication.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The snake on it. It's
well,
been covered for a long time, yeah.
Because I've read all those books, but with the new covers.
Right.
So I don't know the basics.
Oh yeah. Now they used to have these crazy weird covers on them, and one of them was a guy in a white outfit with a white helmet, and he was grappling with a snake and coming out of a tree, and that was the cover.
I'm not sure what that has to do.
It's supposed to mean something, and all these things were actually they have significances, Scientology significances, Hubbard whole track stuff, right? Which is just total Scientology mysticism. So interesting.
We did do contact assist too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I mean I remember Greenfields I loved it, but there's the main school right there, then there was a soccer field here, And then there's another hard court. It was 3 tennis courts back to back, but
Yeah.
people also played soccer on there too, or the games and stuff. And it was all open space back here, right? So whenever one person would get hurt, the entire school would just shh. No,
Oh, the
one
whole
thing.
quiet thing.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Because there's a contact assist. And the second the person would get up and be fine, then we'd start playing again. But
Right,
everything would
of course.
stop, not one noise. And of course the kids that aren't Scientologists, that have no idea what contact assists are like, the hell is going on?
Right.
And they'd keep playing and screaming and they'd be like, shh, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, let me play soccer.
Right.
Yeah.
And this
So-
is a Scientology thing, because with Dianetics, actually, it's a Dianetics thing where if there's a person who's injured, you're not supposed to make any sounds because those sounds are supposed to be going right into,
Your
their
subconscious
reactive
mind.
bank, their subconscious, and then they will have detrimental effects on the person later. So you're supposed to
Yeah.
be quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this big thing. So, okay, so basically you're totally being raised in a total Scientology environment.
100%. My whole life I've been in a bubble.
Right, at a not Scientology school.
Yes.
It's just using the Hubbard methods.
Yeah.
Right.
But everybody is speaking Scientologies.
Right.
You know, I'm saying words like Satan, and I'm saying words like.
Oh really?
words-
So even the full on terminology.
Oh yeah, but I have next to no idea what the full extent of those words mean. That's just what my parents spoke.
Right.
You know, so that's how I spoke.
Right.
So.
Interesting.
Oh yeah. When I did more courses, when I did all the basics, later, I actually understood what I was saying.
Right.
You know, I understood all the terms that my parents were using and all that
Right.
stuff. Because I knew the basics of what a contact assist were, like how to do it. I never knew what it was for. You know, like how in Scientology that's supposed to help you and all that kind of stuff.
It was just a rote thing that you just learned how
Yeah,
to
it
do.
was
You
just-
had no idea what you were even doing it for.
No. You know, I thought it was
Wow.
supposed to help with the pain,
Right.
you know, to try to do the incident over and over again.
Yeah.
I
Touch it
never
back.
never realized again the Dianetics thing. It was supposed to get rid of the pain and then in your reactive mind. and all that
Interesting.
stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. And this is a very interesting point because this is all over in Europe. This is in England.
Yeah.
It's the same drill over here.
Yeah.
So it's same.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of an important point.
Right.
It's marketed the same. They tell the same lies
Yeah.
to the public.
Yeah.
No, this isn't Scientology.
Right.
We're not doing Scientology here.
No, of course not.
No,
Yeah.
you pay us and we'll just teach your kid really good with the Hubbard method.
Yeah. Luckily,
Wow.
luckily for me, the teachers were pretty good.
Right.
And I liked my teachers, and I became friends with my teachers, and I could go to my teachers, and they cared about me, and they helped me understand and things like that.
Well, and of
So-
course, and actually, of course, in all fairness, I mean, my experience as well with Delphi, Los Angeles, Delphi, Oregon, which are Scientology schools in the same way that Greensfield was,
Yeah.
private boarding school type situations. The people who work there really do honestly care about the kids.
Yeah.
They are there because they want to do the work they're doing.
Right.
So it's not like,
But they're not
No.
necessarily a certified and trained teacher
right,
because the laws are a lot more loose over here.
that's right.
I know for a fact, my stepdaughter Brianna,
Yeah.
or Summer, she likes to go by nowadays.
Oh, I see.
I know that she missed out on some education because of that. You know?
Yes.
So
That is a key difference, actually. It's an interesting
Yeah.
difference that England is
Because-
more strict.
right, because I missed out on some subjects that I really wish I could have learned or had the opportunity to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the amount of limited kids and limited teachers, there were limited subjects that we could pick from.
Right.
But we got all our basics. I mean, English lit, languages, theater studies, all the sciences like physics, biology, chemistry. We
Yeah.
got sports, all that stuff. So we got most of everything. I just wanted to hone in on some stuff that I never really got the chance to.